On the morning of our anniversary, I decorated cupcakes that I baked especially for him. By the evening, I read every cruel word he and his friends had written about me in a group chat. The man I loved was not celebrating our love, he was mocking it. I did not cry. I canceled everything, packed my things, and left in silence. He thought I would wait for him at the lake house. But I had other plans. Hi, I'm Tessa. I'm 35 and I work as a senior event planner for a hotel chain in Denver. I build moments for a living, milestones, memories. I never imagined I'd end up being the punchline of someone else's. 3 weeks ago on a Thursday night, I stood in our kitchen swirling pale blue icing onto a tray of chocolate cupcakes. They were his favorite growing up. Or at least I thought they were. He used to light up when I made them. Used to. It was cold out. The wind howled against the windows like it was trying to claw its way in. Inside, it smelled like vanilla and sugar and hope. Our 10-year anniversary was 2 days away. I'd taken time off work, gone all in. Booked a lakeside cabin, invited a few of his childhood friends, even hunted down baby photos with his sister for a surprise slideshow. I'd ordered twinkle lights, little monogram mugs, a blanket with our initials. God, I went all out. He was in the shower when I realized I needed the Wi-Fi password. His laptop was open on the kitchen counter. I didn't snoop. I swear I didn't. I just clicked the browser. There it was. A group chat. Unfiltered kings. Real subtle. I saw my name in the preview. That's the only reason I clicked. What I read. I don't even have words for it. It was like watching my own heart get hit by a bus, slow motion, every horrible detail. She still thinks I'm into this Pinterest fairy tale crap. I'm gonna have to fake my way through this nightmare weekend. Her voice makes my skin crawl. Sex? LOL. I'd rather sleep on the couch. Image of my cupcakes. Kill me. I stood there frozen. My hands were sticky with icing, the piping bag still half full. My stomach twisted. My legs started to shake. But my face didn't move. Not one muscle. I didn't cry. Not even a tear. Instead, I wiped my hands on a towel, closed the laptop, and sat down at the kitchen table. Everything felt too quiet. Like the room was holding its breath. And then something inside me just switched. Not sadness. Not rage. Just clarity. He didn't love me. He mocked me. And the worst part? I still loved him. Next part? I canceled everything. And then I disappeared. I canceled the celebration of our love while he was brushing his teeth. He came out of the shower humming. I was standing by the sink, rinsing off the cupcake tray like it mattered anymore. My hands moved on autopilot. Smile. Nod. Pretend everything was fine. He kissed my shoulder. Smells good in here, he said, grabbing a cupcake. I watched him bite into it and make that fake little moan he always did when he liked something. I wondered if he'd send this one to his group chat too. I just smiled. When he went to brush his teeth, I opened my email and canceled the lake house reservation. The owner was kind, said she'd waive the late cancellation fee. I think I mumbled something about a family emergency. My fingers were trembling as I typed. Next, the slideshow. I deleted it. All of it. Hours of editing, gone with one click. I didn't flinch. I texted the caterer, the driver, the florist, the childhood friends, and finally his sister. Me, hey. Change of plans. Not doing the trip anymore. Her, what? What happened? Are you okay? Me, I'm fine. Just things changed. Sorry. She called twice. I didn't pick up. That night, I lay beside him in bed. He was watching something on his phone, snorting at a meme. I stared at the ceiling, eyes wide open. I could feel the heat from his body next to mine, but I'd never felt colder. At one point, he reached over and touched my hand. I didn't pull away. I didn't even blink. I just let it happen. Let the lie of us keep breathing a little longer. He had no idea I knew. That I'd seen every vile word. That I'd memorized his betrayal like scripture. At 3 a.m., I got up quietly. Sat in the kitchen in the dark. No lights. Just the glow from the fridge when I opened it for water. My phone buzzed with a reminder. Call lodged to confirm extra pillows. I laughed. Out loud. Like a crazy person. The sound bounced around the empty kitchen like it didn't belong to me. I took a screenshot of the worst part of the chat, the picture of the cupcakes with "Kill me" underneath. I stared at it until the screen dimmed. Then I packed a bag. Not everything. Just enough. A few changes of clothes. My toothbrush. A sweatshirt he'd never liked but my mom gave me years ago. I tucked the wedding anniversary card I'd written for him, still unsigned, into the trash. I didn't even tear it up. Just dropped it in there. Like it was nothing. And then I wrote the note. Just one line. Your words were louder than you thought. I heard you. I placed it on his pillow, right where my head had rested the night before. When the sun started rising, I walked out. Didn't even look back at the house. The air was sharp, biting at my face, but it felt good. Like something was waking up inside me for the first time in a long time. I didn't cry until I was on the highway. Somewhere between state lines, blasting a playlist I'd made for our anniversary trip, the tears started. Not soft ones either. I mean the ugly, heaving kind. The ones that hit from the center of your chest and keep coming even when you're gasping for air. I pulled over. Sat on the shoulder. Watched cars blur past me like they had somewhere better to be. Like I didn't just watch 10 years of my life burn down in the span of 20 chat messages. I kept thinking, was I stupid? Was I really that blind? Because here's the thing no one tells you about betrayal. It doesn't just hurt because someone lied. It hurts because you believed them. You believed the late-night cuddles meant something. You believed the shared Netflix passwords, the shared dreams, the plans. You believed it was real. Turns out, I was just a joke in a chat full of men who probably don't know what it means to love someone with both hands. He called 5 times that day. I didn't answer once. I turned the phone off and drove across 2 states to a friend's house I hadn't seen in years. She opened the door and didn't even ask. Just hugged me. Hard. I cried again. This time into someone's shoulder instead of a steering wheel. That night, we drank wine and watched trash TV. I didn't tell her the full story yet. I couldn't. Not without crumbling. But I remember sitting on her couch, a throw blanket pulled up to my chin, and thinking, this is what love should feel like. Safe. Soft. Real. Not cupcakes and cruelty. Not mockery and pretend kisses. And definitely not a man who needs a group of bored boys to validate his ego by trashing the woman who loved him most. I wasn't sure what came next. But I knew one thing. I was never going back. The worst part wasn't what he said. It was realizing I had no idea who I'd been loving. I couldn't stop replaying it. The chat. The words. That image of the cupcakes. But then the questions started creeping in. The kind that rot you from the inside out. The kind that keep you awake even when your body is begging for rest. Was this new? Or had he always felt this way? Did he mean it when he used to kiss my forehead and say, you make life easier? Or was he already laughing at me back then too? It's wild how quickly your memories stop feeling safe. One moment they're warm, comforting, and then someone flips a switch and they all turn cold. Rewritten. Warped. I started digging. Not into his stuff, no more snooping. Just my own brain. My own past. There was this one time, maybe a year ago. I'd surprised him with tickets to that concert he said he'd always wanted to see. I was so proud of myself. Spent weeks planning it around his work schedule, got us a hotel nearby, even made us matching shirts as a joke. I remember the look on his face when I gave him the envelope. Not excitement. Not joy. Just tired. He smiled, sure. Kissed me even. But the smile didn't reach his eyes. That night at the concert, he drank too much and spent half the show on his phone. I told myself he was just tired. That maybe he was overwhelmed. That I was the one reading too much into things. But now I know. He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be with me. Then I thought of the time I got that stomach flu, remember? I was sick for 2 days straight, curled up on the bathroom floor, couldn't keep water down. He made me toast once, left it on the nightstand, and then spent the rest of the day gaming with his headset on. At the time, I thought, he's giving me space. He doesn't want to hover. Now I know it was just indifference wrapped in convenience. And maybe that's the hardest part. Realizing how many things I excused. How often I gave him the benefit of the doubt. How many red flags I tied into pretty bows and called compromise. He wasn't cruel to my face. He didn't yell. He didn't cheat. He didn't hit. But he wore me down slowly, quietly. With silence. With boredom. With mockery I didn't know was happening behind my back. I sat on my friend's couch for hours that night, wrapped in that same blanket, phone on airplane mode, watching the ceiling fan spin and spin and spin. My friend, her name's Becca, eventually asked, do you want to talk about it? And I tried. God, I tried. I opened my mouth and all that came out was, I think I loved a man who hated me. She didn't try to fix it. She didn't say, no, I'm sure he didn't. She just nodded. Quietly. and let me collapse. That's real friendship, by the way. Someone who lets you fall apart without rushing to patch you up. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I stared at the wall and played every memory of the last 10 years in reverse. Like my brain was trying to find the exact moment when everything shifted. When the love died and the pretending began. I imagined him sending those messages. Typing them out. Laughing. Watching his friends react. Sending the picture of the cupcakes I'd made with my whole stupid heart. I pictured his fingers on the keyboard. The same hands that used to hold mine. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to scream. But all I did was whisper to myself, what did I do wrong? That's the part no one warns you about. The shame. The internal collapse. Because when someone treats you like a joke, your brain doesn't ask, what's wrong with them? It asks, what's wrong with me? Was I too much? Too emotional? Too eager? Did I smother him with love he didn't ask for? Did I make him feel small by loving him so big? Did I create this? I know logically that's not fair. But logic doesn't survive heartbreak. It drowns in it. Becca made pancakes the next morning. I took one bite and burst into tears. Actual tears. Over pancakes. Because that's what he used to ask for on lazy Sundays. Pancakes with strawberries. I used to wake up early just to make them. And suddenly I couldn't eat. Suddenly everything reminded me of him. The mug. The song on the radio. The stupid flannel blanket he once said smelled like me. It was everywhere. And I wanted it all gone. I wanted to scrub him off my skin, out of my lungs, out of every plan I ever made that had his name in it. But I couldn't. Because love isn't a switch. Even when it should be. He asked why I left. So I gave him the truth. In pixels and poison. I hadn't spoken to him since the night I left. 3 days, then 5. A full week. My phone buzzed constantly at first. Then it got quiet. Then desperate. 22 messages. 8 missed calls. 3 voicemails. The first few were just confused. Tess? Where are you? Did something happen? Hey, you didn't show up to the lodge. I'm starting to worry. Call me. Then he got annoyed. Seriously, what the hell is going on? If this is some test or game, it's really not funny. Then came the apologies. Or what he thought were apologies. If I did something wrong, I'm sorry, okay? Can we just talk like adults? This isn't fair. You just disappeared. I stared at my screen, thumb hovering over his name. My chest felt tight, like a fist was squeezing the breath out of me. That night, I sat on Becca's front steps with a blanket over my shoulders and finally opened the group chat screenshot again. The icing on the cupcakes. The caption. Kill me. Something in me cracked. You wanted answers? Fine. I sent the screenshot. No message. No explanation. Just the image. Just his words. The delivered checkmark popped up instantly. Then it turned read. I waited. 10 seconds. 30. And then the typing bubble appeared. Tessa. I didn't wait for the rest. I turned the phone off. An hour later his sister called. I almost didn't answer. But some part of me needed to hear what she'd say. She was crying. Tess. I saw it. I didn't know. I swear to you I didn't know. I thought he loved you. I swallowed hard. My voice was flat when I answered. He didn't. He just got good at pretending. She told me she'd confronted him. That he admitted everything. That it wasn't just jokes like he'd originally tried to claim. That it had been going on for months. That his friends egged him on, turned it into some twisted bonding thing. I told him, she whispered, he made fun of the only person who ever actually showed up for him. I felt tears burning my eyes, but I blinked them back. I didn't want to cry for him anymore. I'd already cried enough. After the call, I sat alone on the porch. The wind was picking up, carrying the scent of pine in the cold edge of a storm. The sky was that strange shade of blue that feels like bruised skin. I took a deep breath and wrote him one last message. I needed to say it. For me this time. You didn't just break my heart. You laughed while you did it. You called my love a Pinterest nightmare. You shared photos of something I baked for you with mockery in your mouth. I celebrated you with my whole heart. And you gave me nothing but cruelty behind my back. So no, I don't want to talk. I want you to live with what you did. Alone. Send. That was it. I blocked him after that. Phone. Email. Socials. Silence. And the weird thing? It didn't feel like revenge. It felt like peace. Becca brought me tea later. Chamomile in this chipped green mug with a cracked handle. She sat beside me without saying a word. The quiet between us wasn't awkward, it was sacred. I looked at her and said, I spent 10 years trying to be his peace. And he turned me into a punchline. She reached over, squeezed my hand. And that's when I broke. Not with rage this time, but with grief. All the birthdays. All the inside jokes. All the late-night road trips where I made playlists and he just stared out the window. I thought we were building something. Turns out I was just decorating a house he already wanted to move out of. The confrontation didn't come with shouting. No slammed doors. No public scene. Just the undeniable sound of someone who no longer loved me, pretending they did. That silence? It screamed louder than any fight ever could. Everyone kept asking me how I was doing. And I kept lying. It's funny how you can feel more alone surrounded by people than you ever did in an empty house. I stayed at Becca's for 10 days. On paper it was safe. Comfortable. She gave me space but also warmth. Cooked. Checked in. Brought me coffee with too much sugar because she remembered that's how I like it when I'm sad. But the loneliness still came. Quietly. It crept in at night, usually when she went to bed and I stayed up watching the fireplace flicker on low. I'd sit there on the couch, wrapped in a throw blanket, the remote in my hand, watching some show I wasn't following. And I'd think, is this who I am now? A woman who fled her own anniversary? A woman crying into grocery store wine while everyone else posts Instagram stories about couple goals? I started checking his social media from a burner account. I know I shouldn't have. But curiosity is a slow killer. I needed to see if he'd posted anything. If he was moving on. If he was hurting. But no. There he was. Grinning at a bar. Beer in hand. Same friend group. Someone commented. Missed you at the lake, bro, girls are a lot sometimes, huh? He liked it. Just a little gray thumbs up. My stomach turned. I locked the burner account and deleted the app. I stared at the screen until it went black and reflected my face back at me. I looked tired. Not just in the physical sense. In the soul sense. Like someone had scooped out the middle of me and just left skin to walk around in. Friends texted. People asked where I'd gone. Are you two okay? Did the anniversary trip happen? We haven't seen any pictures. What's up? I didn't reply. What was I supposed to say? Actually, I found out he's been humiliating me in a group chat. Cupcakes were involved. It was a whole thing. No one teaches you how to grieve a relationship that didn't explode but eroded. Slowly. Quietly. Behind your back. Some nights I sat in the bath just to feel something. The warmth on my skin. The echo of the water against the tub. I'd sink down until only my nose and eyes were above the surface. Like I could disappear in plain sight. One night, I whispered you loved him too much. And that thought stayed. Echoed. Grew. Did I? Is that even a thing? Can you love someone so much they resent you for it? It's like I offered him my heart and he got tired of holding it. Dropped it like it was too heavy. I walked around Becca's neighborhood during the day, earbuds in but no music playing. Just to avoid small talk with dog walkers. Just to avoid existing inside myself for a while. I passed couples holding hands. Moms with strollers. A guy proposing in the park while someone took pictures. I felt like a ghost walking through someone else's dream. Then one afternoon I saw something that cracked me open again. A little girl, maybe 7 or 8, was setting up a lemonade stand at the end of a cul-de-sac. She had hand-drawn signs, pink glitter letters, and mismatched paper cups. And a man, her dad, I guess, stood next to her with a big umbrella to shade the table. Just watching her. Smiling. Proud. He wasn't even drinking the lemonade. He was just there. Showing up. Holding space for something small and sweet. I walked past and had to bite my lip hard not to cry. Because that's all I ever wanted. Someone to stand beside me when I was trying. When I was loving. When I was building things that weren't perfect but were real. Someone who didn't need me to be cool or effortless or small. Someone who didn't flinch at glitter signs and icing sugar. But I chose someone who couldn't handle being loved out loud. And now here I was. 35. Alone. No home to go back to. No partner to lean on. Just a suitcase in a friend's guest room and a silence that stretched on like a second skin. Becca told me you're not alone. And I nodded. I wanted to believe her. But when the lights went out and the house went quiet, it was just me. Just my breath in the dark. Just the ache of everything I thought we were, gone. And worst of all, I couldn't even be angry anymore. Because anger burns hot. And I was just cold. I let go of everything except the part of me that finally said, enough. It started with a trash bag. Becca was cleaning out her garage and I offered to help. I think I just needed to move. To sweat. To do something where the mess made sense. I found a box labeled Tessa's stuff. She'd gathered what I'd left behind before I fled: photos, makeup, an old hoodie, and the anniversary card I thought I'd thrown away. It was still sealed. I held it in my hands like it was radioactive. The cover had gold script that read, "Still my favorite person." I don't even remember writing it. But when I opened it, I saw my own handwriting. 10 years and I'd choose you every time. I stared at those words for a long time. My own voice in my head felt like someone else's. Then I ripped the card in half. Not slowly. Not gently. I tore it. The sound echoed in the garage like a slap. And I kept tearing. Into pieces so small they fluttered like confetti. My fingers shook. My breath came fast. And then something broke loose. I dropped the card bits into the trash, grabbed my phone, and unblocked his number. Not to talk. Not to listen. Just to do one thing I hadn't done yet. I posted the full screenshots. I uploaded them to a locked Instagram story and added just one caption. This is what loving me looked like to him. Not for pity. Not for revenge. For truth. So I could finally stop carrying someone else's lies. I locked my phone and walked out of the garage. My arms were still shaking, but my chest felt lighter. Later that day, the fallout started. People messaged me. Friends. Acquaintances. Even his coworker's wife. I had no idea. "I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that." And his sister? She texted me. "He's in meltdown mode. But you're free now. Don't look back." I didn't. Instead, I booked a one-way ticket. To anywhere. Somewhere warm. With an ocean. I'd never traveled alone before. Always waited for someone to come with me. To plan it together. But this time it was just me. On the plane, I stared out the window and whispered under my breath, "I'd choose me this time." I landed in a sleepy coastal town. Rented a tiny Airbnb with peeling blue shutters and a lemon tree outside the window. Every morning, I walked barefoot to the beach with a coffee in hand. No makeup. No schedule. No pretending. And for the first time in years, I didn't miss him. I missed the version of me that thought love was supposed to hurt if it was real. I missed the girl who begged for crumbs and called it a meal. But I don't miss him. Because the truth? He never deserved the cupcakes. He never deserved the effort. He never deserved me. He used to say I was too sensitive. Turns out that sensitivity saved my life. It's been 23 days since I left. 12 since I blocked him again for good. 3 since I stopped reaching for my phone first thing in the morning expecting pain. Today, I walked down the beach barefoot just after sunrise. The water was cold around my ankles, but it felt like permission. Like something whispering, "You made it." I sat in the sand with my knees pulled to my chest and watched the waves erase every footprint behind me. Mine included. That's the thing about healing: no one throws you a party when it happens. There's no applause when you finally stop crying or when you delete the last photo of the two of you from your phone. But inside, something shifts. And when it does, you know. You know when the silence stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like peace. You know when you look at a picture of your old life and don't want it back. You just want to thank it for teaching you what not to accept ever again. Back at the little Airbnb, I started sketching again. I hadn't drawn in years. He used to tease me for it, called it doodling like I was a bored teenager. But here? No one's watching. No one's mocking. I sit at the patio table with the lemon tree behind me, pencil in hand, drawing quiet things: hands, waves, windows cracked open. Little symbols of freedom. One of the drawings is of a cupcake. Not sad. Not pathetic. Just soft. Sweet. Whole. It sounds small, but it matters. Because for the first time in a decade, I don't feel like someone's girlfriend. Or someone's disappointment. Or someone's joke in a group chat. I feel like a person again. Just Tessa. Tessa who sings to herself while making coffee. Tessa who laughs too loud at her own jokes. Tessa who loved too much and survived it. Sometimes I still feel the ache. Of course I do. You don't unlove someone overnight. You don't erase 10 years with one message. But now when it hurts, I don't run from it. I sit with it. I let it pass. And then I get up and make something beautiful out of the space it leaves behind. That's how I know I'm healing. Not because I've stopped missing who I thought he was, but because I've stopped missing who I had to become to keep him. If you're still here, still listening to me whisper my story into the dark corners of the internet, thank you. This isn't a revenge tale. It's a survival one. And if you've ever found yourself standing in a kitchen with icing on your hands, Wondering how love turned to cruelty, just know. You can walk away. You can start over. You can rebuild everything they made you doubt in yourself. One breath. One step. One truth at a time. Because in the end, the loudest thing I ever said to him was silence. And the kindest thing I ever did for myself was leave.